Thanks to the support as a channel member, David Carter. Oh, boys and girls, it's been a long road to get here, but today we face Borussia Dortmund in the first knockout round of the Champions League. I really hope they're watching down the road at Schalke. This is what you could have won. Hello and welcome to Club 4, Part 20 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two matches for you. One in the Champions League, the home leg, the first leg of the first knockout round in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund. We're then going to show you the Arsenal game in the Premier League. Arsenal are the team directly above us in the Premier League currently. Don't worry, tomorrow we've got Manchester City in the other leg of Dortmund. The next four matches... Poor old Fulham. 4 of the next 5 matches are really, really important to how this season is going to turn out for us. Since you were last with me, form has started to do what form often does in the lead up to a big game. We did okay throughout. I mean, I say we did okay in January. We didn't even do okay in January, really. If we look back on our last 6 Premier League games, we've only won 2 of them. We've only lost 1 as well. But we are becoming draw merchants, and that's not ideal. But I think it's because we're preparing. We're scared. We are a little bit scared. We're in completely uncharted territory now for a club like Norwich. Imagine Norwich facing a big German club in European competition. I can't imagine that could ever end well for Norwich. But I mean, the amount of comments I'm going to get now. I know. That was the joke. I'll still get the comments. It's fine. What was I saying? Yeah, the other thing that's gone on, because January has happened, is transfers. There's still not been very much more go on. We'd signed Yedro in the last episode, and we did continue trying to shift players out that we didn't really need. I think we'd got as far as Angelino was going, having already sold Zanelli. We let Diallo go as well, because Diallo came in, never really played, and decided he wanted to leave. He was out of contract at the end of the season, and we were offered money for him. So some of these old men that come in for free don't really work out, although we were only paying him 10 grand a week, and we sold him on for £750,000. So there's a little micro profit there for us to make. But other than that, it was pretty much the window that we already knew we were going to have. What has been a little bit of a problem off the back of that window is upon Mortellaro leaving the club and Gilberto Carlos becoming the only attacking midfielder we had, he then got injured. So Yedro is having a bit of a baptism of fire in the Norwich side, where he's struggling a little bit. He's still young. He's still completely untried. And he's going to be playing against Borussia Dortmund. I don't see how this can possibly go wrong. I know there's been a few calls in the comments to play Alvarez in that role. I want Alvarez to be able to come on for Tammy Abraham. I want to be able to have a top level front two throughout the entire match. And I don't know that Tammy plays through the entire match. So because of that, Alvarez has to hang back to come on for him rather than starting. And then it's having to go with Yedro and Casolare in the same front three for the final 20 or 30 minutes of the game as the 2 old men tire. So there is method to the madness. There is some logic in there. But we've also got injuries to Janusek and Romero. Wagyu isn't registered for the Champions League and is also arranged to be leaving. He's joining Besiktas in the summer. So we are down to the bare bones. And Borussia Dortmund are quite good. Managed by Brendan Rodgers for the last 7 years or so. But they're just doing Borussia Dortmund things. They're always second place in the Bundesliga, and apparently that's fine. If Brendan Rodgers ever wants to pack that in, I'd quite like this job. I think that would be the ultimate response to Schalke sacking me. Would be to go to Dortmund and go and win the Champions League with Dortmund. So this is a job I've definitely got an eye on. But I do need Brendan Rodgers to get out of here. He's only 59, so he's not going to be retiring anytime soon either, which is not ideal. But maybe knocking them out of the knockout rounds of the Champions League will go a long way towards getting him sacked. It probably won't, because this is probably what they're expecting. So Hoy and Hal in goal, a back four of Michele, Caesar, Knoll and Sika. Answer at the base of the midfield, Zamorano and Tipple ahead of him, Yedro, then in behind Abraham and Pedro Luis. This team has gone from being full of old men 2 years ago when I arrived to skewing a little younger than I probably would have liked. I really tried to keep the balance between experience and youth at Norwich after going a little bit too far in the direction of youth at Schalke. Let's do it for the fans. But with the combination of a few injuries being picked up and accumulating old men in similar positions, and some of them not really getting, like Wagyu and Angelino really falling off a little bit earlier than I expected them to, we have kind of ended up in a situation where we've got a lot of very young players in what is, I mean, I would argue this is the biggest game in the history of the football club. And there is one of our experienced players, Diego Knoll, Norwich captain, no longer wants to leave. He was on the transfer list at his own request. He's now withdrawn that request and he's happy to see things out to finish the job here at Norwich. And there he is, leading by example with an early goal, 1-0 to Norwich against Dortmund. What a time to be alive. But it is Dortmund now on the attack again. Seeker, I'm not really sure what he's attempting there, but it didn't really work. And he's left us in a little bit of trouble. Michele not able to get us out of the trouble, but Knoll is there again to head clear, and Tipple getting back involved with the defenders as well to try and get some defending done. But goodness me, Dortmund are knocking it around us like we've never played this combination of defenders before. We've played them together quite a lot. Caesar's a Brazilian wonder kid, and everyone knows the best Brazilian wonder kids are centre-backs. But, Dortmund are just, that feels offside. That did feel very offside. Hoyenhau palms it in clear, but only into the path of the on-rushing forward for Dortmund, and it's taken them 3 minutes to not only get their reply, but get their away goal. I can't remember if away goals are a thing in FM22 in the Champions League. I know in real life, the away goal rule has been or is being removed from the Champions League. I can't remember if it's this season or next season. The away goals rule actually ends for the Champions League. And I really can't remember if that rule is applied to Football Manager or not. So that's probably something I could have checked before kickoff. But, it's not like we've played a lot of Champions League football on FM22. I know when I was managing Arsenal in the beta, away goals was still a thing. But there's been a patch since then. There's been an update. So whether or not they added in it being removed after a year in the update, I am not at all sure. Tipple has made it 2-1. I mean, the easiest way to solve this problem is make sure that we don't have to rely on the away goals rule. So let's win 6-1 tonight, and then we can just go back to their place, check in on my old house in Schalke while we're there, my Gelsenkirchen abode, which for some reason I've been really struggling to sell. But luckily we've got some lovely tenants in there, so we should go in and just make sure that they've not done any of the deadly sins of the tenant, like, I don't know, hanging a picture on the wall or leaning their sofa against the wallpaper, or any of these horrible things that completely ruin a house that tenants must not do. We'll check in on those in tomorrow's episode. But 2-1 at half-time, got to be happy with that. Dortmund have been the better team. Dortmund are the better team. They're Dortmund. They've obviously been there, done that in the Champions League a gazillion times over, and we are completely untried. And this is why Alvarez doesn't start, because Tammy Abraham, as great as he's been this season and as high as his natural fitness is, in the last month or two, I have noticed, obviously because he's playing so much football, I imagine, but in the last month or two, he is starting to turn into a normal human rather than a superhuman when it comes to fitness levels. You can see that his physicals are starting to drop off. He's 34, turns 35 this year, and he is starting to struggle to get all the way through a football match. And now Alvarez can come on and replace him. Have I actually clicked confirm on that? I have clicked confirm on that. So Alvarez gets 25 minutes now, and that wouldn't have happened if we'd have started Alvarez in the Yedro role. Ultimately, we've got to back Yedro. We spent good money on him. We've got to back him to come in and be part of the squad. Right, Michele is tiring as well. The only option to drop back there really is Tipple, who is also tiring. So logic dictates just take off Tipple. And then Zamorano is also struggling and needs to come off. We've got Walsh who can come on for him. They're two pretty easy substitutions to make. Are we allowed 5 subs in the Champions League? I don't remember. There's so much about the Champions League I don't know. This is why I need to listen along to the commentary and have the commentators explain it to me. Let's try and make another change. Can we take Yedro off? No. So it is just, at least we've clarified that one. It is only 3 substitutions in the Champions League. which I guess that's fine. They've got a player called Renan at the back. That's a bit of a blast from the past. I mean, seeing Renan playing at centre-back isn't ideal, but Renan as a Brazilian superstar striker of the championship, it brings back memories. Go and watch Homegrown, boys and girls. It was a wonderful, wonderful series that not enough people watched. Still 2-1, 12 minutes of the game remaining. If the away goals rule is a thing, Dortmund are going to be pretty happy with what's going on here. If it's not, they're going to be looking for an equaliser, and they do seem to be looking for an equaliser, which, I mean, if they grab the equaliser and away goals are a thing, this is a double nightmare with bells on. Norwich 2, Dortmund 2. Our European adventure might be coming to an end. Although, I mean, in our defence, we were only supposed to not show ourselves up, or words to that, I can't remember the exact wording, not make fools of ourselves in the Champions League. We certainly haven't made fools of ourselves in the Champions League. We made it through our group. We're still playing in Europe in February, and we're not being embarrassed here. We're not being completely dominated. And even if we'd have lost comfortably against Dortmund, I think there's a strong argument that that's not particularly embarrassing. They're Dortmund. They're pretty good at football. Cross comes into that far post. Oh, we're saved by the crossbar there, and Knoll desperately gets it clear. Now Alvarez with the chance to break, but unfortunately can't get past what I think was a holding midfielder for Dortmund, and it remains 2-2 as we enter into the final couple of moments of the game, and it is 2-2 at the final whistle. Right. Priority number one, go and find out if the away goals rule is a thing, which presumably we can do by... Does it not show us Champions League results? It always used to. Right, Champions League rules. Away goals. Where would this even be, do we think? We have a look at first knockout round. That's the one we want the rules for. Second leg match rules. Only extra time played if scores are level after 90 minutes. Penalty shootout if scores level. There's no mention in there of away goals counting double. So I'm assuming, and this is a dangerous assumption to make, I am assuming there's no away goals rule. Let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong. But I don't think there's an away goals rule, which is good. Right, victory picked up over Fulham in the in-betweeny bits. So this is the situation going into this game against Arsenal. We're 6 points behind them. We're not really looking upwards in the Premier League. We would be over the moon for fourth place finish again. But we are nervously looking over our shoulders, bearing in mind we've got Arsenal and Manchester... Is it Manchester United or Manchester City? They're basically the same thing. Arsenal and Manchester City to play in our next two league games. And with West Ham only 1 point behind us with a better goal difference... It's a little bit of a worry. Chelsea are lurking there as well. What we don't want to do is be so focused on the Champions League that we end up slipping out of the Champions League for next season and having to slum it playing football on Thursday nights. So we're going with the strongest team we possibly can, both for the Arsenal game and the Man City game. If that ends up ultimately being at the cost of getting through in the Champions League, then so be it. Premier League has to take priority at this stage of the save. It does mean Romero and Gilberto Carlos being thrown back into action a little bit earlier than they would have been if we were playing Fulham again, for example. Neither of them can do a full 90 minutes, but I think they're both so important to the team that we get them back in and just cross our fingers that we don't re-injure them before Man City and or Dortmund. So the team is Hoyenhal and in goal, a back four of Michele, Caesar, Nolan, Romero, Answer at the base of the midfield, Janusek and Tippel ahead of him, Gilberto Carlos then supporting Abraham and Pedro Luis up front. Yes, I know those two are both tired. There's nothing I can do about it. They shouldn't have got injured. Quite frankly, I feel like it's all on them. If they hadn't have got injured, they wouldn't now be tired, would they? So whose fault is it really? Exactly. Just checking in on the Arsenal back four, which has been pretty solid throughout the entire save so far. In fact, this is the first time, I think, that we've seen Arsenal who've not had a back five, including the goalkeeper, that was there at the start of the game. They seem to have... I didn't notice who the other centre-back was, but there was one that wasn't either Gabriel or White, so I'm not sure which... Oh, there you go. Ben White's still there, so I don't know if Gabriel's injured or if he's actually been replaced and Arsenal are finally moving on. But this back five seems to have served them quite well for 10 years because they're always in and around the Champions League spots. And that's Saka charging forward on the left-hand side. I mean, you lot gave me a lot of stick when I managed Arsenal in Non-Leeds Legend last year for making Saka my left-back. Well, it looks like that's exactly what's happened to him in this universe as well. Oh, and Tammy Abraham does really well. The finish just needed a little bit of luck. He's hit the inside of the post. It's come back across goal, but unfortunately not crossed the line. That was an opportunity, though, for us, and we're not going to get a huge number of them against a team like Arsenal, so we need to be taking those opportunities. McKaylee trying to get past Tomiyasu. Cross comes in, looking for Pedro Luis, but Ramsdale is there to collect relatively comfortably. Ramsdale must be, I mean, this entire back five must be in their 50s by now. We're so far in the future. White playing it out to Tomiyasu, and Tipple is there. I mean, as a former Spurs player, he's going to have a little bit of extra oomph today, I imagine. Knowles missed his header there, and luckily Hoyenhal is equal to it, and Caesar is there to clear. It's been a bit of an end-to-end opening to the game. But reminder, it kind of is a must-win game for us, especially with Manchester United away Manchester City, away in our next match. Pedro Luis is in again, and that's a poor finish from him. But we can't expect to get anything more than a draw out of Man City away. So with this being a home game, we've really got to win it. West Ham are away against Brighton, so they're going to be feeling pretty confident about getting some kind of return out of that game. We don't want to be finding ourselves drifting out of this top four. We've done really well to stay in the top four all season long. We really don't want to be dropping out of it now, especially if our Champions League run is going to continue, because it's going to be very easy to get distracted. Then part of me thinks for the greater good of the club, it might be better for us to get knocked out by Dortmund in tomorrow's episode. If that happens tomorrow, assume I decided to do it deliberately. No matter what I say at the time, no matter how upset I seem to be when it happens, what has gone on there? What on earth has gone on there? I mean, we've gone 1-0 up. I've never seen a goal like it. Let's have a look at this from the other angle. Ramsdale, I think, has made an amazing save as part of this and still ended up conceding the goal. Cross comes in for McKaylee. Is that Ramsdale tipping it onto the bar, or is it just hitting the bar? Either way, I mean, it was very nearly an own goal. Ramsdale doing very well to prevent that from happening. But Pedro Luis, as lightning quick as ever, is there to capitalise on the mistake and put us 1-0 up. And that is a very important goal. Saka now flying past Janusek with ease. And Hoyenhal once again is there to make the save. The linesman looked like he was twitching a little bit. I think that was going to be declared offside if anything had come of that. We're getting quite a few little score updates coming through. Manchester United winning over Everton. Manchester City winning, I think, does that say City were winning over Liverpool? Oh, that's poor. I don't know what Hoyenhal's done there. The ref's got his finger in his ear. I'm hoping this is being disallowed for offside. Rayner looked like he was in an awful lot of space. The goal has been awarded. I'm not quite sure what Hoyenhal's done here. If we have a look at so the cross comes over. Rayner's got all the space in the world, and I think Hoyenhal's just been wrong-footed by it. That's unfortunate, because we've been the better team in that first half. We deserve to be going in at half-time ahead in the game, and we're not. And now, right at the start of the second half, Arsenal with a corner. Rayner's there again. He's proving to be a little bit of a nuisance today. We probably need to deal with him. Get Romero on him. Just break him in two. And Arsenal still lurking around on the edge of our area. I don't care for it. It's loitering with intent, and quite frankly, I'm a little bit upset by it. Saka looking for the cross, and there is a second goal for Arsenal, and this is problematic for us. This is we could be, over the next episode and a half, we could be witnessing a thump back down to earth for Norwich, because we could be dumped out of the Champions League and find ourselves down in 6th or 7th place with a lot of work to do in what will be the final, how many games? 10? 8 games? That's a big ask. If we end up going through all that and ended up in the Europa League and getting another pathetically small budget, I think that'll be the first time during my time here at Norwich I start to just have a little look at the jobs pages in the newspaper. That's how you get football jobs. You check the newspapers on a Thursday. That's where the jobs are in. we'll have a look at those over the summer if we end up bottling this season. Pedro Luis is in. Tipple there, and Tipple grabs the equaliser. Forget getting a new job. We're going to win the league. I mean, maybe. Probably not this season, but one day we might. Just to clarify. Oh dear, I'm coughing now as well, trying to stifle a cough. Pedro Luis, he's hit that very hard, and Tipple charging forward to join in with the attack. He's so much further forward than Tammy Abraham. It's quite impressive from Tipple that he's got himself into that position, and Caio Caesar's there, and all of a sudden we've turned the game on its head. Caesar with the goal from the corner. It's 3-2 now, still 25 minutes to go. Look at that sea of yellow bobbing up and down. They're having a lovely afternoon. That is a very good header from Caesar. And now it's time for some changes, I think. Let's have a little bit of a look. We are going to take Tammy Abraham off just to save his little legs. And then we already know what the other two changes have got to be. They're being forced upon us. So it was Gilberto. So Yedro can come on for him, and Romero and Wagyu can come on for him. And they are the three changes. I mean, we didn't have to take Abraham off, but it makes sense to take Abraham off. We've got Man City coming up, I think, in 3 days. We want a fully fit Tammy Abraham for that game because he's become such an important part of this team over the course of this season. Goodness me, they've just rattled our crossbar. 15 minutes left. We don't want any more of that. Let that be the last attack of the game for Arsenal. As they continue to shuffle around their long-standing back four. This isn't right. This isn't how things should be. I thought Arsenal had gone back to the 90s version of Arsenal, where the back four and goalkeeper are always the same. It looks like we're reaching the end of that wonderful period for them. But they are on the attack here, and Reina has got in behind again, but this time it's hit a little bit long, and Hoyenhal is there to sweep up and collect the ball. Caesar now out to Michele, he's run himself into the ground today, up and down this left-hand side all day long. But look, he's gone past everyone. This is brilliant from Michele. There's the cross to Pedro Luis. I mean, I was going to say what a goal. It's a tap-in for Pedro Luis. That was absolutely sensational from Michele. That was like Ryan Giggs doing it to Arsenal in the FA Cup all those years ago. Except he didn't finish it himself. I mean, I think it's quite generous to give Pedro Luis that goal. It looked like an own goal to me. I don't think the original shot's going in, but Pedro Luis takes it, and we take being 4-2 up with 7 minutes of the game remaining. Michele has a big optional future fee attached to him this summer, similar to the situation we had with Tipple last year and what's his face, Zamorano the year before. Based on what we've just seen there, we've got to find a way to get the money together like we did for the other two, because Michele has been the latest in a long line of really, really good loans who've been crucial players for the club. Ansa's a similar player or a similar situation where we don't have an optional future fee on Ansa. So I'm assuming we just have to give Ansa back, which is going to be a little bit of a shame. But we have got the two youngsters in that position ourselves that we can start to get into the team next year. Alvarez charging forward, of course, he's going to be relatively fresh. Cuts it back to Tipple. Tipple now to Ansa. Back to Alvarez again. This is beautiful football. But there's nobody there. See, this is the problem. There's no Tammy Abraham there to nod it in. Janusek now gives it back to Wagyu, who is also fresh. Janusek with the cross. Yedro's in. That would have been a wonderful moment for him to announce himself here at Norwich, putting the cherry on top of the cake in a very important victory over Arsenal. I think we can call it a victory at this point. That's great from Alvarez. Again, Alvarez really wants a goal, and he can't quite keep his curling effort below the crossbar. But we have turned this game on its head in this second half. I said Arsenal were marginally the better team in the first half. I think, maybe. We've been much better than them in this second half. Yedro, again, all the space to run into. He's going to have a shot. It's a terrible effort, but at least he's got the confidence to have a go at it. We're going to put a positive spin on everything today. And Arsenal coming forward again. It doesn't matter. Michele's proving that he can defend as well. Even a goal at this point means nothing. They're not going to score two. And this has been absolutely crucial for our season. This is far more important than anything that went on against Dortmund, picking up this victory here today, because this goes a long way towards helping us get back into the Champions League again next year. And that's how we get the long-term money to be able to bring in the likes of Michele and Ansa permanently, by being a long-term Champions League club. We're never going to have big attendances and loads of money coming in through the club in its own right. We need prize money. We need TV money. We need merchandising and advertising and all that kind of stuff that comes with the Champions League. And that result helps us get all that for another year. We are still only 1 point above West Ham. It could have been much worse if we'd have lost. But we're only 3 points behind Arsenal. And now with Manchester City to play, we could insert ourselves into a title race tomorrow. We're not going to, but we could. Maybe. Possibly. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.